There are weapons that do not need to appear often, but every time they do, they decide the fate of an entire battlefield. Apache belongs to that category. It was not created merely to hit targets, but to return, to be repaired, to be upgraded, and to keep flying for decades. On the other side, the Mi-28 was born with the same question: how to destroy tanks, how to survive under dense firepower. But when wars drag on, when technology gradually becomes outdated, when budgets turn into a burden, only one of those paths proves its true values.
Apache's job was to unlock the sky. 2 Apache teams flew low in the dark, minimizing emissions, hugging the terrain, slipping into Iraq's early warning and air defense web, hitting key radar sites and command nodes. When those radars went blind, a strategic gap appeared. Hundreds of coalition aircraft could surge in, strike from above, while the defender lost eyes, ears, and reaction time. Apache rarely became the headline, but the entire air campaign was built on the hole it punched. After that, Apache returned to its instinct: hunting armor. It did not charge into enemy formations to buy a few loud minutes. It waited behind sand ridges, behind folds of ground, behind the edge of a town, lifting its sensors for seconds, locking a target, then dropping back down. Hellfire does not need noise to prove anything. It needs one correct hit at one correct moment. What makes Apache dangerous is not only missiles or a 30mm cannon. It is the way it lives inside a long war ecosystem. Recon, target designation, communications, ground command, tactical air, artillery, all connected so that a small detection becomes a big outcome. Apache is a link in the chain, not a lone star. And then comes the most expensive part of war. Not how many targets were destroyed, but what happens after the helicopter gets hit. Many Apaches took fire and still made it home. Pilots survived, airframes were inspected, data was recovered, weak points were dissected and fed straight into upgrades. The battlefield became a laboratory, but a laboratory paid for in blood and real error. From that moment forward, Apache was no longer seen as a strong attack helicopter. It became a proven warfare platform. It can fight, it can endure, it can be repaired, and it can evolve. There is one detail people miss. Survivability is not only not crashing, it is being ready again tomorrow. Systems are built with redundancy to bring the aircraft back to maintenance. And behind the helicopter sits an industrial rhythm. Parts, technicians, training, large enough to absorb wear over time. So Apache is not just a weapon in the sky. It is a cycle. Fight, survive, fix, learn, advance. In a long game, that cold cycle is what creates real advantage. That is why every new attack helicopter, no matter how modern it looks, is eventually measured against a simple question: can it do what Apache already did? Under the conditions Apache already endured, and keep doing it year after year without the system breaking behind it. If Apache represents a war ecosystem mindset, Mi-28 reflects a different path, more direct, heavier, and far more dependent on the aircraft itself. Mi-28 was born from a Soviet requirement for an attack helicopter that could take hits, absorb punishment, and keep flying inside dense fire environments. The core philosophy was clear: thick armor, rigid structure, powerful engines, physical survivability first. As a result, Mi-28 is heavier than Apache even before weapons are loaded. Its cockpit is heavily armored, windows are thick and bullet-resistant, and many components are designed to take a hit and continue. This follows a familiar Soviet industrial logic: big, tough, hard to destroy, and less reliant on delicate systems. On paper, that sounds reassuring. A helicopter that can endure heavy fire seems ideal for brutal battlefields. But modern warfare does not test toughness alone. It tests awareness, reaction speed, and integration. That is where Mi-28 begins to struggle. Its avionics evolved slowly, and the integration between sensors, targeting, and fire control remained limited. A mast-mounted radar exists, but its connection to weapons does not enable true fire-from-cover tactics like Apache. This forces Mi-28 to expose itself longer, fly closer to targets, and rely heavily on direct visual identification. In an environment filled with manned pads, mobile air defenses, and UAV scouts, that is a serious disadvantage. Mi-28's firepower is not weak. It can carry more weapons, more anti-tank missiles, larger rockets, even unguided bombs. But more weapons do not automatically mean higher effectiveness if they cannot be used safely and repeatedly. Another major issue is engine efficiency and fuel consumption. Mi-28 burns significantly more fuel, reducing practical range and loiter time. That limits patrol duration, reduces target weighting capability, and shrinks tactical flexibility. Most importantly, Mi-28 is not sustained by a fast, continuous upgrade ecosystem. Battlefield data does not always translate into rapid, system-wide improvements. Budget constraints, supply chains, and strategic priorities slow and fragment its evolution. Mi-28 is not a failed design. It is the product of a different way of thinking about war, a way that trusts the platform itself more than the network surrounding it. And as wars stretch longer, that difference becomes impossible to ignore. As wars stretch into prolonged conflicts, the difference between Apache and Mi-28 is no longer about specifications or firepower, but about how each system ages over time. Apache was designed to age alongside war. It accepts that it will be hit, that losses will occur, but every return brings data. Data on firing angles, detection ranges, exploited weaknesses, and human error. That data is not buried in reports. It feeds directly into the upgrade cycle. Sensors are refined, software is rewritten, tactics are adjusted, pilots are retrained based on real survival lessons. As a result, Apache never stands still. It evolves quietly year after year, not through dramatic, revolutionary versions, but through hundreds of small improvements accumulated over time. Mi-28 ages differently. Battlefield losses do not always translate into timely upgrades, partly due to budget limits, partly due to industrial and logistical constraints, and partly due to the absence of a fast feedback loop from combat. As air defenses evolve, especially modern man-pads, cheap reconnaissance drones, and distributed targeting networks, all attack helicopters become more vulnerable. The difference lies in response. Apache reduces exposure, extends engagement range, integrates tightly with UAVs and ground forces, minimizes time spent visible in the sky. Mi-28 is often forced to fly lower, accept higher risk, and rely on armor and firepower in an environment where absorbing damage is no longer a sustainable strategy. In the Russia-Ukraine conflict, these limitations became amplified, not because Mi-28 is weak, but because the battlefield changed too fast. A heavy platform with high fuel consumption and slow upgrade cycles gets worn down gradually in a war of attrition. Apache is not immune to danger, but it was built to survive wars with no clear end date. That is a systemic difference, not a matter of pilot courage or individual skill. And when war becomes a long game rather than a short clash, the system that adapts faster is the one that lasts longer. The story of Apache and Mi-28 is not about which helicopter looks stronger on paper. It is a story about how nations think about long-term warfare. Apache does not win because it is perfect. It wins because it belongs to a system that accepts mistakes, extracts value from losses, and turns every near failure into the next small improvement. For Apache, the battlefield is not a stage for prestige. It is a data source. Surviving pilots are assets. Returning aircraft are repositories of experience. Every mission ends with something more valuable than victory, the ability to perform better next time. Mi-28 does not lose because it is weak. It was placed inside an ecosystem without enough room for long-term evolution. When budgets tighten, upgrade cycles slow, and wars extend beyond initial assumptions, advantages in armor and firepower are gradually eroded. Modern warfare no longer rewards weapons that shine only in brief moments. It rewards systems that can repeat missions, absorb mistakes, and endure long enough to adapt to change. Apache still exists today, not because the United States lacks alternatives, but because it remains compatible with how the U.S. fights wars. Mi-28 delivers the opposite lesson. No matter how impressive a weapon appears, without an ecosystem rich in resources, data, and time for evolution, it will eventually fall behind. The final lesson is not about helicopters. It is about the thinking behind weapons. In war, As in every major competition, the winner is not the one who starts strongest, but the one who remains standing when the game becomes long.
If you find this content helpful and valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. My name is Hai.
See you next time.